Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1, Second Mother, written by Hamster IV. They came from all over, pilgrims to this pale blue dot on the edge of civilized space. These retired soldiers, freedom fighters, and mercenaries of 1,000 different species made the trek to Earth to pay homage to their second mother. Some didn't even belong to the species that reproduced sexually, yet the title Second Mother was understood by all. She had watched over them as they slept. Her battle cry had been their first warning of danger, and her violence was often all that kept danger away. All that she asked in return was that their children feed her. This is what set her apart from the arsenal of weapons humanity brought with them to the stars. Most of the galaxy's residents could not use the hard-kicking, complicated, but savagely effective tools that humanity used to redefine the art of war. But there was always room at Second Mother's table. War had once been the purview of the so-called the League of Martial Races, beings that as evolution had gifted with natural armor, rending claws, or venom glands. When the humans had entered the galactic scene, they had initially lobbied to be accepted into the League. Despite not having any natural weaponry, their history was so filled with violence that most were shocked that the humans were not accepted on the spot. The older members of the League, however, were not keen to share their status with these soft-skinned amateurs. In an act of spite, humanity shared with the rest of the galaxy their art of war and the tools that went along with it. It was the art of logistics, of mobilization, and when necessary, staggering violence. It was an art where all willpower and numbers counted for more than physical strength, and an art that would upset the galactic order for generations to come. The Browning M2, or Marjuice as the humans called her, proved to be the cornerstone of their war. Every species the League extracted tribute from would get a visit from the team of human advisors. The advisors were terrifying warriors in their own right, blending into the environment and launching daring raids against League strongholds. Yet their main job was that of force multiplication. They would uplift the local population from cowed chattel slaves to warriors on par with themselves. Often, this would take the form of support teams for the ubiquitous Marjuice, which, throughout linguistic drift, became Second Mother. It took 8 years to break the back of the League. In that time, humans went from a terrifying, bloodthirsty alien menace to trusted battle brothers, as each and every species learned their worth on the battlefield. Karnak bulls were clumsy, but strong enough to act as mobile platforms for Second Mother. The tiny Centaurans were barely strong enough to lift a box of ammo, yet their clever hands could join belt to belt at such a rate that Second Mother's wrath never stopped for lack of bullets. The dexterous footpads of the Unathi were put to use changing out overheated barrels. Even those species who were not so specialized could still hump ammo or lay down fire. When the flames of war receded, Second Mother was the most venerated piece of equipment in every species' arsenal. Her form was ubiquitous at war memorials for visual and tactile species. For those who sensed their world through olfactory means, small packets of cordite would be burned like incense in her honor. The thunderclap of her voice would remind all of her service in local Victory Day celebrations. A new trend started with the veterans who had fed her and sheltered under her mighty wrath. Those 8 years of camaraderie and blood had changed them. The families they fought so valiantly to protect could not really understand their story. The popular media dramatizations of the conflict felt hollow. With few local options to rekindle that sense of belonging, the veterans of the League War turned to Earth. That is when the pilgrimages began. They felt the need to stand where John Browning stood when he conceived Second Mother. To walk the assembly lines of Earth where the Second Mothers first took form. To feel that sense of connection again, which had once bound so many together in war. Humanity, for their part, understood this need. They made accommodations, and eventually industry to support these visiting pilgrims. The second Mother tour package would start on a shuttle ride down to the planet's surface. A holographic John Browning would narrate, in the appropriate language, the technical and political situation he was facing when he first designed the second Mother. This was followed by the panoply of humans in different uniforms sharing the stories of Second Mother and the various human-on-human conflicts that predated their arrival in the stars. Once on the planet's surface, the Pilgrims would see humanity's war memorial to those lost in the League War, a series of pillars bearing the names of every major battlefront arranged chronologically. Between each pillar was a holographic depiction of Second Mother and a crew of soldiers who maintained her. The depiction started as mostly humans, with scatterings of non-humans taking up specialty roles. Yet as they progressed, they showed the greater integration of all species into the war effort. Then came the tour of the old-style machine shops that first produced Second Mother. Finally, the tour would end at the Wall of Remembrance, an aptly named structure where visitors were encouraged to leave their own stories of Second Mother. Stretching nearly 2 miles long and average 3 meters tall, the wall consisted of faded pictures, handwritten poems, spent shell casings, scent pods, and every form of digital recording from throughout the galaxy. Each, in their own way, represented a tale of bravery. Translated ones are provided to provide context and facilitate interspecies communication. But most come to look for stories of their own kind in the war, to once again feel the connection with their brothers in arms and their second mother. End of story. Story number 2. Summary of the guidelines for humans in multi-species spacecraft. Written by Isocahedron. Gravity. Humans are capable of adapting to standard gravity within 2 to 8 standard days, during which time anti-nausea medication, see Appendix E, is to be provided. In the case of humans who cannot adapt, or on a craft which typically undergo non-standard acceleration, weights or air bladders are to be made available. Sleep. Humans require sleep, but do not require it within any specific parameters. Any human, but especially those in the armed service branch, is capable of entering sleep in a wide variety of situations, and they may do so without warning. This is not cause for medical concern, unless they have been diagnosed with narcolepsy. Food. Humans are capable of consuming all standard rations except those containing agotamine, for which lysogide or ethanol may be substituted. Food energy consumed per day varies greatly both between individuals and for the same individual over time, which is not to be considered a medical concern. Most humans are capable of meal preparation, and on vessels large enough to house a proper galley, they should be permitted to prepare their own food. Their food must be clearly labeled as such, including its name and any toxins it contains. Many humans enjoy sharing food, but a crew are to be made aware that a human's palate is highly varied due to lack of cultural homogenization. Just because you enjoy one human dish does not mean that you'll enjoy all human dishes. Companion animals. Many humans will take animals as companions. This is to be generally encouraged because it keeps them calm. The captain of a vessel has discretion in allowing dangerous predators on board, but they are advised to allow it if the human can demonstrate control over the creature. Psychological factors. Auto-psych programs are being developed for humans. Their capacity for compartmentalization and denial is quite high, so small vessels need not be concerned that human crew will not have regular counseling. However, great care is to be taken to ensure humans do not become bored, as bored humans are highly dangerous to everyone around them. Any human who appears to be attempting to upgrade the ship must be redirected to open problems in mathematics, science, etc., or creative pursuits, if at all possible. Addendum: humans are not to be redirected to the following fields: psychology, high-energy organic chemistry, yodeling, bioengineering, applied nuclear physics, contract law. Non-human on a primarily human vessel. It is strongly advised that non-humans not enter human vessel, even briefly, until the ongoing space vessel's integration process is completed. End of story. Story number 3. Preverve, written by Big Woofle. He hadn't had much experience when it came to humans. After all, he was only a minor negotiator, and the humans had only started their interactions with the galactic community a few years ago. But already he could feel himself What was their phrase? Run into a brick wall, when it came to the unsettled planets within their territory. It seemed that for every planet they developed and colonized, they singled out another perfectly habitable world and dumped a load of useless animals on it. It wouldn't be so bad if they used it as farming world or a research facility, but no. Apart from a single building on the surface and a modest station above, it was left alone for the wildlife to run rampant. Incalculable wealth in the realms of industrial metals, precious stones, sheer living space, and they left it to stagnate. And for what? When he asked about this, he got the most ridiculous answer that it simply had to be a falsehood. Humans caused a lot of damage as we grew up. Whole species extinct, several just clinging to life, forests wiped out and oceans polluted. It took us a long time to overcome it all. I guess you can say that we're paying back a debt. Nature could have wiped us out long ago, with disease, famine, wild beasts. I think we owe it to her to pay her back for her patience. Superstitious nonsense, that's what it was. The land and everything in it was meant to be used for the good of the people who controlled it. Even if industrial planets needed to ship in their food and water, or agricultural worlds waited months for a single part to be shipped to them, or the breakdown of order when delays caused boredom and hunger on city planets. Still, it was a damn stupid thing to hold onto a planet for. Who ever heard of a nature preserve anyway? End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.